The massive chamber of the Galactic Council stretched for miles in every direction. Representatives from 200 species sat in floating platforms. Their forms varied beyond human imagination. Some were crystalline beings that sparkled with inner light. Others were gaseous clouds held within force fields. The most powerful among them were the Dominion, tall silver beings with forearms and eyes that glowed purple. Commander Rex stood at the human platform, looking small compared to the alien giants around him. Earth had sent him here with hope. Humanity had discovered faster-than-light travel just 5 years ago. They wanted to join the galactic community peacefully. The Council recognizes the human representative, announced Lord Vex of the Dominion. His voice echoed through translators in 1,000 languages. Rex cleared his throat. Honored members, Earth requests membership in the Galactic Council. We offer our technology, our culture, and our friendship. Laughter rippled through the chamber. It came in many forms, chittering, bubbling, hissing sounds. The Dominion representative raised one of his 4 hands for silence. Humans, Vex said slowly, your species is ... primitive. You still use chemical rockets. Your weapons are kinetic projectiles. How quaint. More laughter filled the chamber. Our railgun technology is quite advanced, Rex replied calmly. We can accelerate projectiles to 30% of light speed. The laughter grew louder. A jellyfish-like being floated forward, its translucent body pulsing with colors. Throwing rocks at high speed? This is your great achievement? We have plasma cannons that can melt moons. The Dominion has antimatter bombs. Even the smallest member races have energy shields that would stop your ... bullets. Rex's jaw tightened, but he maintained his composure. We also bring our medical knowledge, our art, our... Enough, Vex interrupted. The Council has decided. Humanity is rejected. You may return in 1,000 years when you have evolved beyond your primitive state. Guards, escort the human out. 2 massive insectoid guards moved toward Rex. Their armor gleamed with energy shields, and plasma rifles hummed in their claws. Rex looked around the chamber one last time, memorizing every smirking face, every dismissive gesture. You're making a mistake, Rex said quietly. The only mistake, Vex replied, would be wasting Council resources on a species that still thinks throwing metal very fast is impressive. Your railguns are toys. Your ships are fragile. You have nothing to offer us. As Rex was escorted out, he activated his communicator. Admiral Stone's voice crackled through. How did it go, Commander? They said no, Admiral. They laughed at our railguns. There was a long pause. Then Stone spoke again, his voice hard as steel. Did they now? Well, Commander, return to the ship. If they won't accept us as friends, perhaps it's time they learned why humans survived on a death world for millions of years. Sir, are you suggesting... I'm suggesting nothing, Commander. But Earth Command needs to know that the galaxy sees us as primitive cavemen throwing rocks. Funny thing about rocks, though. Throw them fast enough, and even gods can bleed. The massive council doors slammed shut behind Rex. In the chamber, the aliens continued their business, already forgetting about the primitive humans and their silly railguns. Ambassador Krill of the Ocean Worlds was presenting a new trade agreement. The Synthetic Alliance was discussing mining rights in the Orion sector. None of them noticed the small human drone that Rex had left behind, recording everything. None of them knew that on Earth, factories were already retooling. Scientists were working around the clock. The military was running simulations. Humanity had offered friendship and been laughed at. They had extended their hand in peace and been slapped away. The Galactic Council had made their position clear. Humans were nothing but primitive apes playing with toys. 6 months. That's all it would take. 6 months for humanity to show the galaxy that sometimes the primitive solution was the most effective one. After all, It didn't matter how advanced your energy shields were. If a tungsten rod moving at relativistic speeds hit you before your sensors could even detect it, Galaxy had made its choice. Now humanity would make theirs. Asterisk, deep beneath the surface of Earth's moon, Admiral Stone stood in the command center of Lunar Base Alpha. The room buzzed with activity as hundreds of personnel worked at holographic displays. The walls showed live feeds from construction yards across the solar system. Status report. Stone commanded. Captain Maria stepped forward, her tablet displaying streams of data. Sir, we've completed construction of 50 Hammer-class vessels. Each one carries 20 railgun turrets, upgraded with the new acceleration coils. We can achieve 45% light speed with the tungsten rounds. Stone nodded, studying the specifications. The Hammer-class ships were not pretty. They looked like flying bricks covered in gun barrels. No elegant curves like the Council races preferred. Just pure human practicality, armor, engines, and weapons. What about Project Goliath? Stone asked. Maria switched to another display. The orbital platform is 70% complete. The main gun is... Sir, it's a monster. The barrel is 5 kilometers long. It can fire a projectile at 60% light speed. Detection probability? Near zero, Admiral. At that speed, by the time their sensors pick up the round, it's already too late. No shield can adapt fast enough. No ship can move out of the way. Dr. Tom entered the command center, his white coat stained with coffee and grease. Admiral, we've made a breakthrough. We've figured out their shield frequency patterns from the drone recordings. Stone turned to him. And? Their shields are designed to stop energy weapons, lasers, plasma, particle beams. They oscillate at specific frequencies to disperse energy. But physical projectiles? Especially ones moving at relativistic speeds. Their shields might as well be tissue paper. The Admiral allowed himself a small smile. They spent so long fighting with energy weapons, they forgot about the basics. Newton's first law still applies, even in space. On the main screen, a new image appeared. It showed the Galactic Council's fleet positions throughout nearby space. Thousands of ships, each one bristling with energy weapons, protected by layers of shields. They looked invincible. Sir, Lieutenant John called out, we've intercepted Council communications. They're planning to establish a blockade around our system. They say it's for our own protection, to keep us from venturing out until we're ready. Translation, they want to keep us locked in our playpen, Stone muttered. How many ships? 50 vessels from the Dominion fleet. They'll arrive in 3 months, Stone straightened. Then we have our deadline. Captain Maria, I want all Hammer-class ships ready for combat in 2 months. Dr. Tom, continue refining our targeting systems. We need to be able to hit a ship from 1,000,000 kilometers away. Sir, that's impossible. Tom started. For energy weapons, yes. For a railgun? It's just math. Calculate trajectory. Account for gravitational fields and fire. The round travels in a straight line. No energy dissipation in vacuum. No range limitations. Maria pulled up tactical simulations. Admiral, if we strike first, we could take out their entire blockade fleet before they know what hit them. But that would be an act of war. No, Captain. Blockading our system without our consent is an act of war. We're just going to respond in a language they'll understand. Stone walked to the observation window, looking out at the stars. For too long, the galaxy has mistaken our desire for peace as weakness. Our preference for kinetic weapons as primitive thinking. He turned back to his staff. Send a message to Earth Command. Tell them Operation David is approved. In 3 months, the Galactic Council will learn why humans became the apex predators of Earth, not through fancy energy weapons or exotic technology, but through the simple, brutal efficiency of accelerated mass. What about civilians, sir? The Council has billions of innocent citizens. We're not monsters, Captain. We target military assets only. Show them that their vaunted fleets are vulnerable. Make them think twice before threatening Earth again. The command center continued its work. Engineers refined railgun designs, making them more efficient. Pilots trained in simulators, learning to fight without shields or energy weapons. Miners on asteroids worked overtime, carving out tungsten rounds the size of school buses. The Galactic Council had made a fatal error. They judged humanity by their technology level, not by their determination. They saw primitive weapons and assumed primitive thinking. They forgot that humans had survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. They forgot that humans had gone from horses to spaceflight in less than a century. Most importantly, they forgot that sometimes the simplest solution was the best one. Asterisk. The Dominion fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system with perfect precision. 50 warships, each one a masterpiece of alien engineering. Their hulls shimmered with energy shields that could deflect supernova radiation. Their weapons could crack planets open like eggs. Fleet Commander Tsar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Supremacy. His forearms moved across holographic controls as he surveyed the primitive system before him. "Send the message," he ordered. "Humans of Earth." His transmission began. "The Galactic Council has decreed that for your own protection, no human vessel may leave this system for 1,000 years. Any ship attempting to cross the quarantine will be destroyed. This is for your own good." He waited for a response. The human ships on his sensors looked pathetic. Angular metal boxes with no visible energy weapons. They were gathering near Earth's moon, probably terrified. Then a single message came through. Admiral Stone's face appeared on the screen, his expression calm. "Commander Tsar, this is Admiral Stone of Earth Defense Command. We reject your blockade. Leave our system immediately, or we will defend ourselves." Tsar's mandibles clicked in amusement. "You will defend yourselves? With what? Your primitive projectile weapons? My shields could withstand bombardment from 1,000 of your vessels." "Your shields," Stone replied, "were designed to stop energy weapons. Not this." The transmission ended. Tsar laughed, turning to his bridge crew. "The humans threaten us with their toys. Prepare to, Commander." His tactical officer screamed. "Incoming projectiles. Speed is impossible. 45% light speed. Raise shields to maximum. Evasive." The first tungsten round hit the Supremacy before Tsar could finish his sentence. At nearly half the speed of light, the kinetic energy was devastating. The shields, designed to disperse energy weapons, couldn't adapt to solid matter moving at relativistic speeds. The round punched through the shields like they weren't there, then through the hull, then through the reactor core. The Supremacy exploded in a ball of purple fire. Across the fleet, chaos erupted. Dozens of tungsten rounds, fired from human ships still 1,000,000 kilometers away, slammed into Dominion vessels. The alien sensors couldn't track objects moving so fast. Their shields couldn't stop simple metal. Their point defense weapons couldn't target something with no energy signature. Ship after ship exploded. The Eternal Glory took 3 rounds through its command deck. The Cosmic Fury was split in half. The Pride of Vex was reduced to expanding clouds of debris. "Return fire." Sub-Commander Core screamed from one of the surviving ships. Plasma beams and antimatter missiles streaked toward the human fleet. But the humans had learned. Their ships were built for one purpose, to be railgun platforms. Thick armor plating absorbed the plasma fire. Point defense railguns, firing smaller rounds at incredible speeds, intercepted the missiles long before they could reach their targets. The human ships kept firing, methodical and relentless. Then the big gun fired. From the moon's surface, Project Goliath awakened. The 5-kilometer barrel swiveled, locked onto the Dominion command carrier trying to flee. The round it fired was the size of a building, accelerated to 60% light speed. The impact was visible from Earth. The command carrier didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist. Converted to plasma by the sheer kinetic energy dot, in 5 minutes, it was over. 50 of the most advanced warships in the galaxy had been reduced to scattered debris. The human fleet hadn't lost a single vessel. Admiral Stone opened a channel to any surviving Dominion crew in escape pods. "This is Admiral Stone. We will rescue your survivors and treat them well. But take this message back to your council. Humanity asked for friendship. You gave us mockery. We offered peace. You gave us threats. Now you've learned that our primitive weapons are more than adequate." He paused, letting his words sink in. "Tell the council that Earth's railguns have a range measured in light minutes, not kilometers. Tell them that we can accelerate any mass to speeds that make shields useless. Tell them that we've been throwing rocks since the dawn of our species, and we've gotten very, very good at it. And tell Lord Vex," Stone added, "that he was right about one thing. We do throw rocks. But when those rocks are moving at half the speed of light, even gods learn to duck." The rescue operations began. Human ships carefully collected escape pods, treating the wounded aliens with surprising kindness. The survivors would return to Council space with a story that would shake the galaxy. The primitive humans and their toy railguns had just destroyed the Dominion's finest fleet without taking a single casualty. Asterisk. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was chaos. Representatives shouted in 1,000 languages as the footage played on repeat. 50 Dominion warships reduced to scrap metal in minutes. The human railguns had done the impossible. Lord Vex stood at the center platform, his purple eyes dim with shock. 3 of his forearms trembled as he addressed the assembly. "The humans. Their weapons ignore our shields. Our sensors cannot track their projectiles until impact. We have no defense. Impossible," screeched Ambassador Theta of the Crystal Hegemony. "No kinetic weapon should be able to breach 5th-generation shields." A new voice spoke from the chamber entrance. It was Sub-Commander Core, one of the few survivors, his uniform still showing burns. "The shields don't matter. At half-light speed, a grain of sand becomes a bomb. A tungsten rod becomes something our physics barely has words for." The council erupted again. The Synthetic Alliance demanded immediate retaliation. The ocean worlds called for negotiation. The smaller races huddled in fear, realizing their protectors were not invincible. "We must assemble the Grand Fleet," Vex declared. 10,000 ships. We'll overwhelm them with numbers and lose them all." A calm voice interrupted. Everyone turned to see Ambassador Quinn of the Ancient Observers, a race so old they rarely participated in council affairs. Quinn's ethereal form flickered as it moved to the center. "You fools have forgotten history," Quinn continued. "Why do you think kinetic weapons fell out of favor? Not because they were weak, but because they were too effective. The weapon wars of the Third Epoch ended when species realized that accelerated mass could crack planets. We moved to energy weapons by treaty, by mutual agreement to limit devastation. But the humans weren't part of that treaty," Vex said slowly, understanding dawning. "Precisely. While we spent millennia perfecting shields against energy weapons, they perfected the oldest form of warfare, throwing objects very, very fast. And now they've taken it to its logical extreme." Lord Vex's communication device chimed. A message from Earth appeared on the main screen. Admiral Stone stood in front of a star chart showing Council space. "Members of the Galactic Council," Stone began. "We've demonstrated our capabilities. But we are not conquerors. We asked for membership and friendship. That offer still stands. However, If you send another fleet to blockade or attack Earth, we will respond. The image shifted to show construction yards. Hundreds of new railgun platforms were being built. Some were mounted on asteroids, turning them into mobile fortresses. Others were being integrated into space stations. We've also developed something new, Stone continued. The screen showed a small probe, no bigger than a basketball. This is a hyperspace-capable railgun round. It can exit hyperspace inside your shields, already at speed. Your homeworlds, your fleets, your stations, nothing is safe. Gasps echoed through the chamber. The implications were terrifying. But, Stone's voice softened, we don't want war. We want trade. We want cultural exchange. We want to explore the galaxy alongside you, not against you. Earth formally requests membership in the Galactic Council, as equals. The transmission ended. Silence filled the chamber for the first time in Council history. Ambassador Krill spoke first. If we refuse, they'll destroy us. If we accept, we admit that our technology is not supreme, Vex added. Quinn laughed, a sound like wind chimes. Your pride or your survival? Choose quickly. The humans have patience, but not infinite patience. What do we even have to offer them? Someone asked. Their weapons surpass ours. Everything else, Quinn replied. Medical technology, agricultural science, cultural works, history, faster than light drives, terraform technology. The humans have mastered one thing perfectly, warfare. But civilization is more than weapons. Vex looked around the chamber at frightened faces. The mighty Galactic Council, humbled by a species they'd dismissed as primitive. All in favor of granting Earth full membership? One by one, appendages, tentacles, and energy fields rose in agreement. It was unanimous. Send the message, Vex commanded. Welcome humanity to the Galactic Council, and ... Apologize for our earlier dismissal. As the message was sent, Vex turned to Quinn. Do you think they'll forgive us? Quinn's form shimmered. Humans have a saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. They spoke softly when they first came here. We ignored them. Now they've shown us their stick. I suggest we listen when they speak softly in the future. The council dispersed, each representative carrying news back to their homeworlds. The humans were coming, not as subjects or subordinates, but as equals. And their railguns had guaranteed it. Asterisk. 1 year had passed since humanity joined the Galactic Council. The great station orbiting Neptune had become a hub of interstellar activity. Ships from 100 worlds docked there, their crews mingling with humans in the markets and meeting halls. Admiral Stone, now Earth's military liaison to the Council, walked through the station's main promenade with Lord Vex. The Dominion leader had requested this meeting personally. Your people have integrated faster than expected, Vex observed, watching human and alien children playing together in a zero-gravity park. We're adaptable, Stone replied. Always have been? They stopped at an observation deck. Outside, a human Hammer-class vessel floated beside a Dominion cruiser. The contrast was stark, one sleek and beautiful, the other utilitarian and bristling with railguns. The Council wants to propose something, Vex said carefully. A new defense fleet, combining our technologies. Energy weapons and kinetic weapons working together. Stone raised an eyebrow. A year ago, you called our weapons primitive toys. A year ago, I was a fool, Vex admitted. Your railguns exposed a critical weakness in our defenses. But more than that, they reminded us of something we'd forgotten. Which is, that sophistication is not always superiority. That simple solutions can defeat complex problems. Your species survived and thrived not despite your limitations, but because of them. You had no energy weapons, so you perfected kinetics. You had no shields, so you built better armor. You had no ancient wisdom, so you questioned everything. Stone nodded slowly. And now, Now, the galaxy is safer. The Swarm Collective from beyond our borders has been probing our defenses for decades. Last month, they sent a scout fleet. Your railgun platforms destroyed them before they could report back. The Void Hunters, who've raided Council worlds for centuries, took one look at Earth's defenses and decided to seek easier prey. Fear is a powerful deterrent. Stone agreed, but it's not just fear, Vex continued. Your medical teams have saved millions with techniques we never considered. Your engineers have improved our hyperdrives by 30% just by asking why about systems we've used for millennia. Your artists have created new forms of expression that have captivated the galaxy. They walked to the human section of the station. A restaurant called Earth's Kitchen was serving food from every human culture. The smell of spices filled the air. Aliens of every shape waited in line, eager to try these new flavors. I owe you a personal apology, Vex said suddenly. When you first came to the Council, I laughed at you. I dismissed humanity as primitive. It was arrogance of the highest order. Stone smiled. Apology accepted. We've all learned something. You learned not to underestimate simple solutions. We learned that the galaxy has wonders we never imagined. A communication panel chimed. Captain Naria's face appeared. Admiral, we've just received word from the Explorer fleet. They've made first contact with a new species in the Magellanic Cloud. The newcomers have technology we've never seen. They manipulate gravity itself. Send a diplomatic team, Stone ordered. And Captain? Make sure they know we come in peace, but outfit the diplomatic vessel with our latest railgun systems. Maria grinned. Speak softly and carry a big stick? Exactly. As the communication ended, Vex looked thoughtful. Your Theodore Roosevelt was a wise leader. You've been studying human history? Extensively. We needed to understand how a species could go from bronze swords to relativistic weapons in just 4,000 years. The answer was both simple and profound. You never stopped innovating because you never stopped fighting. Not just wars, but fighting disease, fighting nature, fighting ignorance, fighting to improve. They reached the Council Embassy section. Representatives from dozens of worlds were discussing trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and joint exploration missions. At the center table sat a human diplomat, mediating between two species who'd been enemies for centuries. What's happening there? Stone asked. Your diplomat suggested they settle their dispute with a game from Earth called chess. Winner takes the contested system. Both sides agreed, better than war. Stone laughed. We're teaching the galaxy to play games instead of wage war? Among other things, the Council has officially adopted your Geneva Convention for Warfare. Your concepts of war crimes, civilian protection, and proportional response. For a warrior species, you have surprisingly strict rules about fighting, because we know how good we are at it, Stone said seriously. Rules keep us human. As they parted ways, Vex turned back. Admiral, the Council is commissioning a new flagship. A joint project. Dominion shields, crystal hegemony sensors, ocean world life support, and human weapons. We want you to command it. Stone stood straighter. It would be an honor. We're calling it the Unity, a symbol that our differences make us stronger. Later, Stone stood alone on the observation deck, watching the stars. Earth had found its place in the galaxy, not through submission or conquest, but through strength and wisdom. The railguns that had once shattered the Dominion fleet now protected Council space. The same humans who'd been dismissed as primitive were now teaching the galaxy new ways to think. A young human officer approached. Sir, the new recruits from the Academy are here. They're eager to learn about the Battle of Soul. Tell them, Stone said, that we won not because our weapons were superior, but because we never forgot the fundamentals. Physics doesn't care about your technology level. Momentum is momentum. Mass times velocity equals force. And sometimes, the oldest solutions are the best solutions. He looked at the stars one more time. Tell them that we earned our place here, not by abandoning our humanity, but by embracing it. We're the species that throws rocks, yes. But we're also the species that turns enemies into friends, that finds simple solutions to complex problems, and that never, ever gives up. The officer saluted and left. Stone remained, watching ships from 100 worlds coming and going from humanity's station. The galaxy had learned to respect Earth's railguns. But more importantly, it had learned to respect Earth's people. The primitive humans, the ones who still threw rocks, had changed the galaxy forever. Not through conquest, but through competence. Not through sophistication, but through simplicity. And in the vast cosmos, where energy weapons lit up the darkness, and shields shimmered like aurora, humanity's railguns stood silent watch, simple, effective, and absolutely lethal. A reminder that sometimes, the old ways were the best ways. The galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. End of story? Asterisk.